One hop this time. Bump. Two.
Oh, gosh.
Bump. Slide to the left. Boom.
Slide to the right. Crisscross. Somebody at our wedding requested that song like 3 separate fucking times.
Oh, that's more enjoyable than Macarena. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, but not 3 times in one night.
No. It's like doing the hokey pokey. I can't believe some people actually request the hokey pokey at their wedding. Why?
Oh, no.
This isn't a skating rink in 1989. Hello, Rewatchers, and welcome back to the Rewatch Recap, where we recap shows for nostalgia and pure amusement. Not or, and.
And or.
Whatever. My name is Dustin, and I'm here with Kay from Fuck My Work Life and Spooky Kay. There you go.
Hi.
And Spooky Kay. Woo!
Woo! I'm here with a ghost.
Oh, yeah, Ghost Kitty. We're doing season 2 of Dead Like Me. I've got a bubble right now in the middle of my throat.
Oh, you got burp?
I can't get it to go away, so it feels like my voice sounds weird. That's weird. Anyway, season 2, Dead Like Me. We're on episode 11, titled Ashes to Ashes, and we're finally in October because this aired October 3rd, 2004. We are getting caught up, y'all.
The best month ever.
The best month ever. What am I doing this for? Anyway. Spontaneous dance break. This week is my recap, and wow. Okay, we're getting into the nitty gritty. Like I keep saying that when we get toward the end of something, like we're getting into the nitty gritty, and we're getting there. And this starts to ramp up some things. So
it's nitty and gritty.
Yeah. Ooh. All right, here we go. Previously on Trip never called George. He never called George after they had sex, and after stalking him for a bit, she lashed out bitterly, destroying a storefront window and going to jail, only to call Dolores to bail her out. Mm-hmm. Mason is still obviously hot for Daisy, but at her last reap, Daisy met an aggressive, smooth talker named Ray, and sparks flew. Mm-hmm. And Rube discovered... Sorry, go ahead.
Literally.
Yeah, literal sparks. Yeah, that's right. Oh, buddy. So yeah, Rube discovered his long dead wife's daughter was still alive. He may or may not have questioned whether or not he was the father. We don't know. It's just the way it was spelled out. And because his name was on her birth certificate, and he looked kind of surprised. We don't know. We'll see. She didn't have a death certificate. Maybe that's why he was surprised.
Yeah.
She wasn't dead yet. I don't know. Anyway, that was Dead Like Me. And now, the opening. Oh, Reapers are walking around just like everyone else, but they're taking souls and walking around and doing stuff like I can't think of it. Here's George.
Yep, that's George. The end.
Not one of the better ones, guys. I'm sorry. They can't all be gems. And now our opening quote. Some people you just never forget. It's like they get burned into your brain. Other people make no impression at all. It's like they're there and then they're not. Very bleak.
Yeah.
That's a bleak opening. So yeah, this starts off with George and Roxy showing up to an encampment of unhoused peoples. Best PC I can get right there for you. Is that enough? Is that good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking for George's reap. She asks Roxy to call who her reap is. And she points out someone's sleeping. It's like, who call it? Who do you think the reap is? And Roxy's like, that guy. And George is like, no, there's no one under there. There's no legs. She's like, well, maybe some people maybe didn't have legs. And she's like, oh, Roxy. She's like, not everyone gets through life intact.
True.
But man, I mean, my poor finger. Look at this.
What? Is that from moving?
Yeah.
Ow.
No, that was from when I fell and I had that brace on it, and it's all crooked now forever.
Aww.
From tripping, walking up the steps.
Well, walking's dangerous, Dustin.
That's life. C'est la vie. My poor phalange. Anyway.
Dancing phalanges.
I like to call them phalanges. Yeah. Anyway, so George is looking for an A. Sims and sees a guy cooking at a trash can. And Roxy says, well, you can ask his name and maybe he'll give you a bite of his squirrel kebab. Yum, yum in the tum-tum. Oh. But yeah, so George gets up on a pile of pallets and starts, tries to call, hey, I'm looking for an A. Sims, but no one's listening. And Roxy finally says, hey, we're looking for A. Sims. And they're, the people are like, we didn't do anything. I'm just looking for him. He's got money coming to him. They're like, ooh, money, yeah. Right? But no one's really saying who they're A. Sims. I mean, anybody could have said, I'm A. Sims. Like, right. What are they going to do? No one did, thankfully. And then George notices a graveling coming out of the trash can. And she's like, oh, God, it's the squirrel guy. So she rushes over to him and reaps him just as a piece of like trash comes from like the bridge above, from the train that's going across the bridge above and hits the trash can. And then just this guy bursts into flames. You got two people on fire 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy. She got to him just in time, too. He's like, oh, no. And they're like, oh, no, Montana. She's like, Montana? What? I was looking for an A. Sims. He goes, well, I went by Arthur Sims until I was 19. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Put the song back. Put the song back. I don't know, but he's dead anyway, right? Like, they don't cause the death.
Obviously, it had to have been the right person, right?
Yeah. Well,
otherwise, or he could have just been badly burned.
Right.
And not died.
Well, they always burn up so fast and die in these shows. Like, it probably takes a while to burn to death, but it's like instant. My hand's on fire. I'm dead.
And no, everybody's like, yeah. They look at people, just look at them and watch them burn.
Yeah.
No one tries to help.
No.
Anyway, so Roxy says there's no ID, so Arthur is a John Doe now. And George feels bad about this. She's like, no, that's not right. And Roxy says that not everyone will get a monument or the world would be a huge graveyard, basically. So George decides to write his full name on the Post-it and put it in the guy's pocket. And just as she walks away, another guy comes up and takes his jacket off of his body. And she's like, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Stop him. And then Arthur's like, no, don't. Let him have it. It's cold out here. He needs it.
Yeah. It's nice.
Like, what a nice guy. He doesn't even care about being a John Doe. He just wants his people to be warm.
Yeah.
And, so Roxy praises him for this and tells George, hey, it's the circle of life, baby.
Yeah.
So we head over to Lincoln Elementary, which is Reggie's school. And Reggie's class is taking their group photo. I have to ask, why did we stop doing this after like 6th grade?
I don't know.
And then like we would take like a senior photo of a group, but that's it. So it's like all these years between, there's no group photo of your class.
Because
but I guess it's because when you get to like middle school, junior high, and high school, you start like switching classes and not staying with the same group.
You don't have like the same class. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's the only thing.
A hormonal teenager and you do that.
Yeah.
But then like the senior, you're like, yeah, we're out of here. Let's take a picture.
Yeah, it's all, hey, I'm going to miss you guys. No, you won't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll never talk again.
You won't. Anyway, so Reggie is sullen as ever, as she usually is. And she doesn't want to smile. Not even if her teacher, Mrs. Rickett, the most horrible name again. She threatens the class, like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to stand here until Reggie decides she wants to join us and smile. I'm like, don't shame her. Just take the damn picture. God, like, let her. If she wants to be a downer, let her be a downer. She'll have that memory.
I mean, that's how everyone's going to remember Reggie anyway, so might as well make it accurate.
Yeah. Only person who won't is Francis. He loves the shit out of her.
Oh, my God. He loves the shit out of her. It's true.
He does, though. He loves her. Anyway, so another girl named Sandy, who is totally up your alley, Kay.
Yeah, she's a little goth girl.
All in black. Big old-fashioned sense of goth. She tells Reggie to tell Miss Rickett she doesn't negotiate with terrorists. What a little troublemaker. But the new girl, she's the new girl, and the teacher says, Sandy. And then she goes, no, Sandy is my white slave name. I go by Raven now.
Okay.
You ever noticed when a girl goes goth in like fiction, she always goes by Raven?
Raven.
That always happens. Like, come on, be original, kids.
I just kept my real name.
Anyway, so yeah, Rickett tells everyone to smile, but Raven won't let it go and says, isn't her sister dead? And everybody goes, and looks over at her. And then Reggie goes, smiles the biggest smile. And they take the picture, and everybody's heads are turned, and only Reggie is facing forward.
Smiling away.
Smiling away. That's perfect. What a time to take the photo.
And I like how it's like, oh, we only get one photo. You could take multiple pictures.
Yeah, like, take it again. You only have, like, we only had this much film. And it was probably digital by this point anyway.
Yeah.
2004, we had digital cameras.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, at their Waffle House, the Reapers are at their usual booth talking about George's Reap. And Daisy brings up that, hey, Howard Hughes died a derelict. And Rube says, well, yeah, and he hadn't cut his toenails or fingernails in 5 years. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's interesting. If that's a real thing, that's an interesting fact.
I've heard that. Yeah. And he was like a hoarder and like all kinds of weird stuff towards the end of his life. Yeah.
Roxy says she saw a picture and it was nasty. And Daisy says, well, I knew him before that. And he was quirky and handsome. And Rube adds that 400 people claim to be Hughes' heirs. And Mason says, how much did you get, Daisy?
He's got her number.
Great. Everybody loved that. But only 22 liars got their hands on his $2 billion. And Mason's like, that would be, he can't do the math. I did the math. It rolls out to be around 90 million per person.
Oh my God.
That's not enough. Only. I need more than that.
To do what?
I'm kidding. I'll be fine with 1 million, if anything.
I took 1 million and I still wouldn't be able to buy a home in San Diego.
Yes. No. You can put a good down payment on one.
Yeah.
But would you want to, really? I'd just buy a house in a completely different country by this point.
Yeah. I'd move out of the country.
Yeah. So Mason thinks George and he should go to the morgue and claim to be Arthur's relatives, basically, because he could be loaded. Highly unlikely.
He's a homeless dude, buddy.
I mean, yeah, Howard Hughes apparently was living on the street, but it's like, yeah, that's very unlikely. You're gonna find billionaires just living on the street all the time.
Yeah, I don't think he was living on the street. He was like secluded in his. He was like what do they call it? He like never left his house or his.
Like agoraphobic.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, or
so he had a place. Yeah, he had a place. He just was weird.
Yeah. Well, but still.
But yeah, Mason's not getting the.
Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
So Rube tells him, you have no business going to the morgue. And Mason says, I have no business going down to the morgue.
I love how he pronounces things.
Why did he say that? Like, I think it sounded like he was trying to make fun of Rube, but I was like, he didn't say it like that.
All of his kind of vocal inflections and stuff are getting weirder as the season goes on. He does like the picture when he says things a lot.
Yeah.
He's just getting a little silly.
Yeah. Mason tells him that those are strong words for a boss that went AWOL. Like, you better watch yourself, Brit boy. And George is like, hey, what about your slides from your vacation or your business trip or whatever that was? And Rube says, we're done talking about me. And Daisy's like, we never started talking about you. And he says, well, you're just gonna have to do it without me around. I'm going. And he gets up and then he ends up whispering to Mason and says, he gets down to his ear and he goes, you want to go down to the morgue and you want to, why don't you slide yourself into a body bag with another dead drunk guy and you can both be two dead drunk guys taking a nap because I don't care.
Yeah.
That's like, Rube.
Rube's kind of.
I kind of feel like he needs to stop being a dick and give some answers because he's always getting in their business.
Right.
So he needs to give them something. Like, why were you gone? He could just say, I was looking at something from my past. You don't need to know what it is, but this is what I was doing.
Yeah. That's all because he always tells them not to. So I'll give him.
Exactly. Like, because he'd be a hypocrite. But
yep.
So Mason says Rube has changed and then drops it and tells George, hey, let's go to the morgue, meet on your lunch break. And Daisy says, I'm working today too. Doing what I was meant to do. And Roxy says, hooker.
She's obsessed with hookers.
and Daisy's like, no, I'm going to be an actress on Ray's TV show, basically. And George's like, are you sleeping with Ray? And Daisy says, she doesn't kiss and tell. And I'm with George. Since when?
Yeah, that's all you do.
I mean, it has been a little while since we heard you tell about giving somebody a job, but still, you would still do it. Both George and Mason say they don't like Ray because he's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
This should tell you something. If your friends or people around you are like, you get along with and you see him every day and you're okay with each other, whatever, and they're like, this guy is bad. Mm-hmm. Get away from him. Trust them. They have your best interests in heart. If they've never said that about anybody else, they're telling you the truth.
Yeah. Look, I can understand her not trusting Mason, but she should trust George.
Yeah. I mean, make Roxy meet him.
Yeah.
He'll kick his ass. I
Plus
love
he'll
that.
shoot him.
About right.
Pull
Anyway,
his soul right out of his body.
yeah, you're gonna do this.
Mhm.
So yeah, George gets up to leave for work, but Mason's like, poor sad John Doe at the morgue, all anonymous, dust to dust. She's like, ugh. So we cut over to the morgue, and George showed up with Mason, and they're like, there's a new John Doe. Apparently, they just brought him in 20 minutes ago. This is what the medical examiner guy said. I guess that's what he is, or is he a mortician? What is he?
I don't know.
I'm going to say a medical examiner. Kind of seems like he would be.
Yeah.
He has the chart and everything. Anyway, he goes, all right, I'm just going to let you know, seeing a dead body could be traumatic. And they're like, we can handle it. So they go in, and he rolls out a guy, and Mason springs into the worst theatrics of crying I've ever seen. Oh, just going nuts. And George's like, stop, Mason, that's not the guy. And then she looks over at the medical. She's like, I'm sorry, my brother Mason in shock.
Yeah.
And Mason says, he was like an uncle to me. He's trying to talk with this really horrible American accent.
Yeah.
He was like an uncle to me. And the examiner's like, I thought he was your uncle. And Mason says, but so much more.
I love him.
He's over the top with everything he does. So then he rolls out another body, and Mason fakes falling apart again and starts to cry. And George's like, it's not Arthur. And Mason turns it off and says, I knew that. Before dropping the accent altogether, he says, mate, how many John Does do you have in this freezer? Turns out 5.
Yeah. And way to play it cool, Mason.
Just drop it. I'm British. I can't help it. So the next one is Arthur, and the examiner looks at Mason now. He's like waiting for it, and Mason's like, I'm crying on the inside. And then they ask about the man's personal effects, and he says he didn't have anything besides the clothes on his back. So Mason's like, he cuts his losses. He's like, all right, thanks, bye. You coming, Georgie? But the medical examiner says, I thought your name was Millie Hagan. Like, ooh, Mason's so dumb. Like, you were just there in there with her. You know that's what she said her name was.
But also, like, people have nicknames for people. You know, like,
it could be a different.
Like, that's just what he calls me.
It could be your middle name.
Yeah.
If anything, right?
Yeah.
So George decides, I'm going to stay behind, and I'm going to say my goodbyes. So they leave, and she gets out a pen and starts to write Arthur's name on his toe tag. But the medical examiner comes back and says, okay, that'll be $400 for the burial costs. Like, I need your address to bill you. And because you're next of kin. And George's like, no, Arthur doesn't have any family. She leaves. We cut to a flashback of George saying that she should have seen this coming because she never earned any badges for follow through. And we see young George and Joy sitting at the kitchen table with a ton of cookies, boxes of cookies stacked on it. And Joy is pissed at her for signing up to sell all these, quote, buttercup scouts cookies. But she isn't even trying to sell a thing. And George says, I just wanted the badge. But not if she has to do the work, basically. So she says, screw the badge. And Joy gets mad at her and sends her to her room without supper. So George comes back and grabs 2 boxes of cookies.
Such a little.
Who's worse, young George or Reggie?
I don't know, dude. But I feel sorry for Joy because she got 2 sold on her.
Really? I mean, how did that happen? Because she was so pleasant when she was younger. So it's like, how did she make these kids like this? It's just in their genes? God.
You know, it's nature versus nurture. They're just,
Maybe Clancy and Joy's genes are just like toxic together.
Yeah, they just do not produce good offspring.
They look decent. But otherwise,
I mean, I don't know. They're witty and hilarious. At least there's that.
Yeah, they're dark. But so we go to a random bar, and it turns out Daisy's role is for reality TV. Ugh. He's basically Ray is basically the producer of like a cheaters type program, to catch a cheater kind of thing. And Daisy, wishes to have, I want a set and script. And Ray's like, your script is to pretend to like them and get them to like you. And he calls her a star, and she smiles. And some other woman walks up behind them. It's like, hey, can I sit here? He's like, He's like, sit wherever you want to, sweetheart. And that kind of makes Daisy, what? And so Daisy's like, I can't wait to get out of this dump. And so Ray's like, oh, do you not want to be here, Daisy? Because we can send everyone home. Now, hey, everybody. Daisy, what do you want to do? Because we can always get another girl. And I'm like, I bet you can, you asshole. Like,
and I think that's what he was trying to get across to her, like, not just for this role.
Yeah, I can get anybody else.
Girl. Yeah.
And I'm like, Daisy, you can get any guy. Come on. Right? Anyway, she says, how's my lipstick? And then he kisses her and says, you need a touch up, prick.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But she like, that was cute. I'm like, no, it wasn't.
Like, I love how a few episodes back, she doesn't like the type of guy that would strangle a girl. And she basically just met that guy.
Yeah.
So anyway. So at Happy Time, Crystal is making a rubber band ball. And Millie walks up and says, oh, have you seen anything good in your crystal ball? Get it? And Crystal's like, doesn't say anything. She goes, there's someone waiting for you in the conference room. And George is like, what do they want? And Crystal's like, I don't know. It doesn't say anything or something. I don't know what she says. But it's pretty funny.
It doesn't say.
I don't know. It doesn't predict anything. Oh, kitty. Mama?
It's almost dinner time, Mama.
I know. Anyway, so they go in there and there's a guy named Mickey who runs a homeless shelter. He used to check up on the people at the encampment. And he found out about Montana/Arthur and found out from the city that Millie is his next of kin. So he shows up with a tin box full of like personal effects that he had of Arthur's. And he figures out quickly that Millie did not know him. And he's like, oh, you didn't know him at all, did you? You just really? And he gets all mad because he's sick of family members casting these people off and not caring. And he tells her, shame on you. And I love what she said. She goes, a little heads up on the dead, Mickey. Put them in a marble temple, stick them in a coffee can. Either way, they don't care. They're dead.
Yeah.
True.
She's like, I'm going to hell.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to hell or maybe staying here forever. Which, according to Buffy, this is hell. So, you know. Mm-hmm. Dolores wants to know, what was that all about? And if that guy was wanting money because my cousin Louis took me for a tidy sum, never paid it back. And now he lives in Ecuador with a manservant and everything. Another Herbigism. Millie says her uncle died and she can't afford it. And Dolores says, oh, it's a family emergency. I'll advance you a check. She's such a good person, I swear.
She really is. But also I'd be like, no, I don't want to pay for this at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Not even
why did I say
future
anything?
Checks.
Over at the last house, Reggie brings Raven home, who is an instant asshole about JD, saying she doesn't do preppy dogs. I'm like, what the hell is a preppy dog? Is it one that's cared for? Purebred?
What would a not preppy dog be?
I guess a mutt or one that loves his family. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
She literally pushes JD's head away. She's a brat. Can't stand her. So Reggie calls for Joy. Come get JD. And Joy's like, you don't have to yell at me. She comes into the foyer and to find little Sandy Simmons has returned. And apparently she moved back to town because her mom got divorced. I'm like, you should have said, oh, something we have in common. I felt like she was going to say something about that.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
And she says she's sorry. And Raven's like, don't be. My dad's a freak.
He's a freak.
Before telling Reggie, we need to go online, Reggie. Rude. So the girls head upstairs and Raven requests Joy bring them something sweet and some charcoal eyeliner so she can do Reggie's makeup. I'm like, damn, Joy, you're just going to you need to put this little bossy bitch in her place.
Well, she's just happy Reggie has a human friend.
Yeah, but still, come on.
Yeah. She's like, sure, I'll bring it to you.
Yeah, that's what she tells JD. She was like, I know, because JD whimpers because he didn't get to go with Reggie. I felt so bad for him. And she's like, she needs a human friend or something close.
Yeah.
Got that right. Some random street. We see, this is a quick little scene. It's the only Rube thing that happens really, besides the beginning that happens. He shows up. This guy's doing graffiti on this billboard. He's got great. He's going to fall. He just knows that this is the guy, right? And he's like, hey, why don't you come down here? I'm going to pay you some money for the good work you're doing. And the guy's like, whatever, you can't rush art, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes, oh, see your name because there's a tag. He goes, hey, my name. And he was like, that's the other guy. And he's painting over his stuff. Next thing you know, the guy shows up and he's like, hey, he's going off on him. And we had seen a Reaper climb up on the billboard and like move a can of spray paint. So when the other guy on top turns around, he kicks the can of spray paint down and hits the other guy in the head and kills him. How heavy was that can of spray paint?
The deaths in this show.
I don't get it, but
and then it's just nicely oozing out of the can, mixing with the very like paint red blood from the guy's head.
Yeah, he's like got some paint red blood. It's like mixing with the blue, and the guy's like, "Oh wow, look at the colors." And that's Reeves' part of the episode. That's it. Reeves gone for the rest of it. It's weird. Yeah,
another just like pointless kind of scene.
They just, I guess, Mandy Patinkin had a contract deal. Here's some scenes. There you go.
You got to put in a day's work for this episode. Okay.
So back at the bar, Daisy is apprehensive about trying to get a guy to cheat, but Ray says that the guy's wife is the one who contacted them. And then they flirt a bit, and then this guy comes in, and Ray's like, all right, showtime. And he moves away to see how she does. I'm like, she is in over her head, for real. Mm-hmm. And at the last house, Joy brings snacks up to the girls as they look at George's high school yearbook. And Reggie is now in all black, without glasses and dark eyeliner.
Yeah. She makes a good little goth.
She does. She's cute. She's a pretty girl. She really is. And Joy says that. She's like, you look good. And Raven says, Reggie's name is Spider now. And Joy says, that's pretty.
Yeah. I think Joy knows that, one, she's like happy Reggie has a friend, but two, if she fights this, Reggie's going to go full force. So by saying like, oh, I like it. Oh, that's cool. She knows that Reggie will probably be over it so quick.
After a while, though, the kid will start seeing through that. They know they hate it. They can tell. She can tell. Yeah. Joey's got her tells too, right?
Yeah.
So Reggie says, the cookies you brought are stale. And Raven says, I like stale. It's closer to death.
Yeah. I think they're the same Girl Scout cookies from George's thing. Because they look exactly the same as the picture on the pops.
How old are they? You had them in the freezer
10 years.
Whole time?
9 years old.
Ooh. Joy asks Spider if she wants to have Raven over for dinner. And Raven asks if they can have some more friends over. And Reggie's like, can we have pizza? And so Joy's like, yeah, sure. And she leaves. And Raven says, Joy is cool. But Reggie says, not really. Actually, she is. She's actually not that bad, Reggie.
Yeah.
She's really not, especially now. She's not that bad.
She's real cool right now, yeah.
Yeah, she's really cool. But she has no comparison, I guess. Back at the bar, the husband showed up. His name is Walter. The possible cheating husband anyway. And he's played by a guy named Dan Payne, who's also been in a ton of stuff over the years. But of course, I saw him in something really obscure. He was in this movie called Mulligans. And it's about a family that live like next to a golf course. And the older son comes home with his best friend, and who's this actor Charlie David. And then Dan Payne is the father, right, of the older son. And the father ends up having an affair with the best friend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of hot, actually. But you should watch the movie. It's good. Mulligans. Anyway, so yeah, he sits down and Daisy starts to hit on him, but mentions his wife at home. You have a wife at home? I'm like, I don't think I would bring that up.
Yeah.
That'd be the one thing I wouldn't bring up. I would want them to forget the wife so they would go into the cheat, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because if you're bringing up the wife, it's kind of like you're trying to ruin it.
Weird. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but Ray is the bartender trying to get Walter drunk, basically, while Daisy tries to convince him that you have a good neck for kissing. Does your wife ever kiss your neck? She should. And Ray's kind of eating it up. And she says, I've never thought about forever because forever doesn't last. I believe in one really good night. And I bet you're a good kisser. Can I see? And she tries to kiss him. He's like, no, I'm not a cheater.
Yeah.
And she says, oh, you're not, are you? I could see that, whatever. But she pulls away. She goes, I'll be right back. And she walks off. And it cuts to Ray forcing her down into a chair to look at the monitor of this guy. And she says, this guy isn't a cheater. And Ray says, what are you, a marriage counselor now?
Yeah.
And he's really aggressive and says, you need to get out there and act like she wants to make him happy. Referring to Walter and Ray. Mm-hmm. Act like you want to make him happy. Act like you want to make me happy kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Like,
Like, she just met this guy, what, yesterday?
or whatever, last week.
Very recently? Yeah.
He then's like, am I being hard on you? And she says, yes. And then he says, then he does the thing that like people do, that they tell you who they are in a way, and you're not listening.
Yeah.
And you don't believe them. He says, I am, I'm an awful guy. I'm mean. I'm terrible. And she says, you really are. And he says, I really am.
Yeah. And I think it's hot.
Yeah. You don't want the bad boy. You want the
No.
illusion of a bad boy. You don't want the real bad boy. You don't want that. But he kisses her and he tells her to go out there and show no mercy. We go over to happy time and Dolores gives Millie her advance for $400, but George doesn't want to give the money away. She's like, I'm working overtime for it. It's my money. Why do I have to give it to some dead guy? I'd rather just get this cool leather jacket, kick-ass leather jacket, right?
Yeah.
And Dolores like, you're so nice for doing this out of the goodness of your heart, Millie. You know, doing stuff like I do with my children, my kids. And George's like, what?
Your kids? Since when?
So it turns out like Dolores sponsors underprivileged kids in other countries and proudly shows off all the pictures she has. And she knows that she won't get thanked in person, but that's not what's important. And then there's this flash of where, like, the picture that she gives to George to look at, and there's this little girl named Philanda, and she's like, "Thank you, Dolores, her big brown eyes."
Her big brown eyes. So stupid.
It really is. So Dolores says, when life presents us with an opportunity to help someone who can't help themselves, we have to step up, and that's what you're doing right now. Good person. Really good person.
George is like, well, I guess I won't get a leather jacket.
And she's like, I guess I'm not getting that leather jacket. And she pictures Montana wearing the leather jacket. It's like, thank you for this leather jacket after I died. Like, what? Fashion. Back at the bar, Ray, the bartender, tries to entice Walter to get with Daisy when Mason comes in. And now Ray's pissed. And he wants her to, why are you there? And Mason says, I'm there to see Daisy act. But Ray tells him to shut the fuck up. And he pours Mason 2 drinks and reemphasizes that Mason should shut the fuck up. And Daisy walks by and Mason says that, oh, you're looking good. And she says, not now. And Ray says, I'm not going to tell you again. He's telling you who he really is, like right there from the get-go.
I mean, he smashed a guy's face in with a pool cue. He's not a good guy.
And to do it without like flinching, without any remorse, without any kind of, you just did it like you're like it's nothing. That's screwed up. So yeah, Daisy sits back down next to Walter and says everyone on their deathbed always wishes they had more fun, and men wish they had more women. She says 5 reasons a man comes to a bar. 1, they don't love their wife anymore. 2, their wife doesn't love them. 3, they want to see what they're missing. 4, they want it if just for a moment to taste it. And 5, and she leans in and kisses him really deep. And Ray watches and is just seething behind the bar. And she says, oh, I guess there were only 4. And then she gets Walter to agree to meet her at the hotel, the Blackstone, and she'll meet him there. She'll pay his tab or whatever. So he kisses her again and leaves. And Ray comes out from behind the bar and grabs Daisy hard by the wrist, asking, what the was that kiss?
Yeah.
And saying that you played this part a little too well. She was like, you told me no mercy. Like, she went. What she did. Yeah. She said she followed his direction. So Daisy's like, you're hurting me. And he says, I'm playing the part of a jealous boyfriend. And then he changes his tone and is like sweet again, like in an instant, and says, see what you do to me? You're one hell of an actress, Daisy.
Ew. Before
making plans to see her tonight and slapping Mason on the back. Bye, Mason. Bam, as he leaves. It's a head, man.
Yeah. Mason witnessed this whole thing.
Yeah. He was like, and the thing was, like, Mason gets up and rightfully shames Daisy for acting like a whore. I think, you went against what you know. And she says, you're drunk and you smell. And Mason says, she smells. And Ray smells. And everyone in this place smells, basically. She tells him to go home. And he does. And she turns around. And the woman from earlier, who's asking about where she sit, she says, you did really great. She thanks her for the compliment. But it turns out it's Walter's wife, Melissa. And she's pissed about that kiss, too.
Well, I'm sorry. You set up your husband because you thought he was cheating. And you're going to get mad at the actress who was hired to entrap him. Get out of here.
What would have happened had she not leaned in and kissed him and he leaned in and kissed her? Either way, she would have been mad at her.
Yeah.
No matter what. So it's like, get over it.
You set this up.
Yeah. She needs to get the hell away from it.
Yeah.
She says, I didn't know you were going to be here. They didn't tell me. Oh, yeah, that's right. Blame them. No. Blame yourself, woman.
Yeah, you did this.
You put this forward. Yeah. It's awkward. Back at the last house, Joy interrupts a candlelit session of light as a feather, stiff as a board, with Reggie and her new circle of goth friends.
Yeah.
And brings everyone sodas. And Reggie's cringing, of course.
But also didn't Joy looked a little like she kind of gothed herself up a little bit.
Yeah, she did. She went all black. You could tell she had darker hair. She did her hair a little bit.
A little bit like eyeliner on.
Yeah.
Not like the girls, but she kind of little choker.
She's not like a regular mom. She's a cool mom.
I'm a cool mom.
Want some sodas? If you guys want some sodas, you should drink here, but I'd really rather you do it in the house. Oh, Amy Poehler. Anyway, so Clancy shows up because apparently Joy invited him.
She's like, oh my God, Reggie has a friend. Come over.
Yeah, he looks at Joy all dressed in black. He's like, you look good. And she's like, well, thanks. And he wants to see Reggie, but Joy's like, she will freak out. And I don't know you're here if that's the case. And yeah, so Reggie ends up coming downstairs with her new goth look and yells at Clancy, no boys allowed. And she was, we're going to eat the pizza in the living room. And Joy was like, I don't want to eat the greasy stuff. And she was like, don't embarrass me. And Dad, get out. Like she's being a little majorly.
Yeah, she doesn't like the fact that her friend likes Joy.
She really doesn't. She wants her to hate Joy. But I'm like, just the last episode, you were getting along with her. What's going on? I mean, I guess she's hormones.
Yeah.
But she's only 11.
You still get hormones that early.
I guess. It's starting. Girls start earlier, too, most of the time. Anyway, so yeah. Clancy's really concerned at Reggie's new goth look, but Joy's like, she has friends. And they both kind of take it as a win. They're like, oh my God, she has friends.
She has friends.
Thank God, after all this time, right? There's a line though, but she's crossed it for me, and if I were Joy, I'd been like, you can have friends, but they can't talk to me this way. I'm sorry. Yeah. That ain't right. And it's not right. You don't need to be talking to me this way. She allowed that too long though. She didn't punish her for that stuff. Yeah, and for being crappy to the dog. That pissed me off. Anyway, at the morgue, the examiner sees Millie show up and asks, oh, you have another sad story for me? You want some more, trying to come get more riches? She's like, nope, here. And she hands out the $400 and says, and he goes, I thought he didn't have family. But George says, I guess he does now. And the examiner gives her a bag of the cremains, Arthur's cremains. And she's like, I didn't think I'd get this. And he's like, what do you think you'd get? She was like, well, I'm like, you thought $400 would buy him a grave and a headstone?
And a headstone? Honey.
What planet? Even in 2004? No.
Nope.
He insists that she take the ashes, and she reluctantly does. I don't know why he made her take it out of the box.
Yeah. Just
it's
give her
a cardboard box. Let her have the box instead of carrying around this bag when it's clearly there's remains in here.
That's weird.
And I'm going to say this from personal experience. I had my mom's cremains. There was bone in there.
Yeah.
So you're going to see it. You're going to see bone because not everything burns up. Right? There's
chunks. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. So it's kind of one of those things like put it back in the box or find something. Not just carrying around a freaking Ziploc.
Clear bag. Yeah. Not good.
It's weird. We go back to the last house and the girls invite Joy to play another game, but they don't really explain it, but she can jump in when she's ready. And basically they're listing off what they think are cool ways they could die.
Mm-hmm.
And Reggie is like, don't embarrass me to Joy. And one girl's like, I overdose on aspirin. And they're like, weak. And she was like, no, boiling acid.
Yeah.
First is boiling water, and then she was boiling acid.
Acid.
And they're listing all this other stuff off, like decapitation and stuff. And this one girl goes, carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel. It's really bad.
It's really, really bad. I kind of love how Joy didn't correct her.
Yeah, she's just like, whatever. They're dumb and 11.
Joy says she'd like to go in her sleep as an old lady at 98, surrounded by flowers and family she loves. And Reggie's like, that's not how you play. And Joy's like, that's how I want to go. That's my answer.
Yeah.
So Reggie decides to twist that knife and says, I'd like to die by a toilet seat from the space station, blowing me to bits.
Oof, Reggie.
And Joy, she looks at her and rightfully and goes, all right, girls, time to leave.
Mm-hmm. Cool Mom Acadover.
Sorry. Nope. You crossed the line. That was a line. You crossed it. And Raven's like, you're overreacting. And Joy says, Sandy, you need to get your things and go home and put some cold cream on your face and follow it up with some astringent because that pancake makeup will destroy your skin and you don't want acne scars.
So mean.
Yeah, truth hurts, little golf girl. Sorry. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I was like, there we go. That's the joy we love.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need the bitchy joy. We need the, you know. So Sadie / Raven calls her mean and Joy scolds Reggie that her sister's death isn't a game. And because it's wicked disrespectful, Reggie. I mean, come on. It's one thing to be like, oh, my sister died and she got murdered. That's different than throwing it in your mom's face. It's just, So at their Waffle House, Roxy sits across from George, who shows her Arthur's cremains as Kippity shows up to pour some coffee. She tells George, don't put someone's ashes on my table. It's bad luck.
Not only that, it's just gross. People eat on that table.
You're at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And she just walks up. I just love how she's unfazed anymore. Don't put it on the table. She has to know. She has to have overheard so much. Like, these people they take people's souls or they kill people or something.
Guns on each other. They've shot each other. She's
no
witnessed
way.
a lot of stuff.
You know something was up with these people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So Daisy sits down. She comments on the ashes, saying that, I was cremated. And Roxy says, you burned to death. And Daisy says, that's what I said. Did you though? Roxy asks her about her big day as Mason sits down. And Daisy says, she's a great actress. Just ask Mason. But Mason kind of ignores her and comments on the ashes. And George tells him it's Uncle Arthur. And Mason says, oh, Uncle Arthur, you've lost weight. And he's like, he's toasting to him, like, cheers. 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 With a hooch. And so George asks Mason, is Daisy a good actress? And Mason says coldly, yes, she is. And then he adds, always has been, as it turns out. My eyes have been open. My ears have heard that which they thought they never would. And Daisy's like, all right, Mason. And Roxy says, now that Daisy is somebody, she can pick up the check.
Uh-huh.
Booyah. George asks Roxy to give her a ride, but Roxy says no because it's a health code violation. For cremains to be in a cop car? She's making it up.
But it's not for it to be sitting on a diner's table.
No one complains about that. That's totally fine. But George reminds her, circle of life. So Roxy's like, fine. But he sits in the back seat. And you have to go on you have to go on duty with me. I'm like, really? Damn. A whole day? So they leave, and Mason points out that Daisy has been fixing her makeup a lot. And she says, a girl's got to look good for her man. And Mason points out how Ray grabbed her at the bar and he doesn't care for him. And Daisy says, that's only because I'm dating him and not you, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
And then she says he needs to be nice because Ray will be there soon. And Mason's like, Rube wouldn't like that. And she's, well, Rube's not here.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then Mason says something I was not expecting. He says, you're so beautiful and I love you. I just don't like you anymore. And then he gets up and leaves her sitting alone at the table. That hit home a lot more to her, I think. When he said, I don't even like you anymore.
Oh, I don't like you. Do you think she's touching up her makeup because she has a black eye?
Maybe. Or she's just that vain. And because he was like, you need to touch up your makeup kind of thing at the way he kissed her. And like, he's kind of particular about her makeup. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Then we get to closing quote time, and it's, in a lifetime, we get to be many things. Rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief, doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, daughter, sister, scout, college dropout, friend, dead girl. And we see JD scratching outside Reggie's door. She lights matches and drops them into a jar. And also Daisy waiting on Ray at her Waffle House for a while before she finally gets up and leaves. And George continues, or maybe we just play the parts for a couple of hours until the curtain falls. We then go back to the encampment where we see Roxy and George are holding a makeshift memorial with Montana's friends, and they're going to drop his ashes into the river. From the moment I met him, I knew something about Arthur Sims was familiar. I understood wanting to disappear. I wanted to my whole life. Then I did. So George drops the ashes and says, okay, Arthur Sims, here you go. You lived and then you died. And you have not been forgotten. Then she and Roxy walk off talking about getting breakfast. And George says, it feels like an oatmeal morning, but maybe I'll try something different today. And Roxy says she should. It's a big menu.
Yeah.
End of episode. That was a good episode. It was. And we had some good moments in it. Some good funny moments. Why don't you go first on this? I think you might have some good ones.
We kind of went over the ones that I picked, like with my cousin Lewis took me for a tidy sum, never paid it back, and now he lives in Ecuador with the manservant. Just more into her big lore.
I had that funny moment with George talking to Crystals, and Crystal looks at her rubber band and says, it doesn't say. That's what it said. But the other one was, I only had two. I only had two. The other one I had was when Daisy had mentioned that she had been cremated, and they're like, you died in a fire. She was like, that's what I said. And so George says, gone with the wind. I'm gone with the wind. And Roxy goes, ha, 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 like laughs.
Yeah.
Not just, she like burst out laughing.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow.
She's warming up to George.
Yeah, she really is. She really kind of likes George now because I think she's got that dark sense of humor thing down. That's why.
I had the scene when Clancy was in the kitchen with Joy and Reggie comes in. She's like, Mom, don't embarrass me. Dad, get out. And he looks at Joy and he's like, what the hell, Joy? Just a few simple sacrifices to the devil followed by pizza.
Like kids do.
Yeah.
We all experimented. Oh, God. Okay, let's get to the best character in this episode. Again, I have two.
Okay.
And I got Joy for being an understanding but cool mom. Mm-hmm. And also, but standing her ground at the end. Like, there's a line you crossed. Nope. Got her for that. And Mason for calling out Daisy to her face.
Mm-hmm.
She needed to hear it, and that he was actually concerned for her. And yeah.
Both good. I actually gave this one to George. We're showing a little compassion for somebody and, not doing something selfish. And just one person, like, hey, you were remembered.
Yeah. That was really nice that she did it one more than all the people there. Because they knew him. So, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
It was really sweet. Worst character in the episode. Ray. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
For obvious reasons. But Reggie, this time, for being an entitled little jerk to her parents and to JD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To JD.
I'm sorry.
And also,
mistreat that dog. That makes me mad.
I'm going to give a special mention to the wife that blamed everything on Daisy when she was the one that set it up. Like, I understand you're upset, but this is not Daisy's fault. You essentially hired her to do this.
Yeah.
So
you can't blame the whore for being a whore, kind of thing.
She's an actress.
She's an actress. Anyway. Okay, so we're going into our episode rankings, and I'll go first this time. Okay. I gave it 3.5. I gave it a 3.5. I felt like it had a decent story, but it felt like you could feel it was just laying groundwork for something else. So stuff that was coming, and I remember the stuff that's coming, but that's what it felt like. It felt like not filler, but not exactly an exciting story shift. It was just kind of okay.
Yeah, kind of moving the story along. I also gave it a 3.5. I really liked the goth. Like I didn't like them, but I liked that it was there. And same thing, like there's a lot of kind of like setting things up. So I thought it was good.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think, rewatchers? Do you agree with us? Did you give it a 3.5 or maybe more or less? Let us know. Comment at the Rewatch Recap on TikTok. You can find one of our videos, comment there. Or you can find us on Blue Sky. You can find Kay at FMWL Pod on TikTok and Blue Sky and all that stuff. And tell us, subscribe, watch YouTube, subscribe, listen anywhere else. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Do the thing.
This is weird hand movement thing I'm doing. I don't know. Here,
subscribe
there,
or
anywhere,
whatever.
somewhere. If there's a button that says subscribe or follow or whatever, do it.
Do it.
Yes, and we will see you back here next time for episode 12 of season 2. Later.
Bye.